Hey, thanks for being here. Let's talk. So, if you haven't been here before, I'm Dr. Roshali. If you have, welcome back. And today we're talking about mental health awareness. Well, mental health awareness, surprise, surprise. If you know anything about the channel, you know that's not a surprise. But this month, May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, let's get into it. So, first of all, what is mental health? I want to start off by saying that mental health is not mental illness and it's not personality disorders. If you do want to know about those and you want to understand a little bit more about them, I'll link a video here I did with Dr. Ilunga, and he went into quite great detail about mental illnesses and personality disorders. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Well, it's Mental Health Awareness Month in the States since 1949, and they observe the whole of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. And I'm not in the States, I'm in Namibia, but this is my channel. And who's going to check me, boo? So over here, we're going to celebrate, we're going to use this month to help build and focus on our mental health. Mental health is not synonymous with mental illness and personality disorders, because I get that a lot. I get a lot of times when I talk about mental health or I bring up the subject, people say, I'm not sick, I'm not ill. And yeah, boo, no one's saying you're sick, no one's saying you're ill. It has nothing to do with that. Mental health is it includes, let me get an actual definition. It includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, act, and feel. And it also helps us determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, so interpersonal relationships, and how we make choices. And it's important all the way, from childhood to adolescence to all the way through adulthood. So you see, it's really your state of being and how you take care of yourself. So it's very similar to physical health, and you'll see when we get into a little bit into this conversation today that it is not when someone says take care of your physical health, right? And I know some people only eat a carrot when they're sick, but when we say take care of your physical health, it doesn't mean you're ill. It's not because you're ill. Sometimes it is, but sometimes, and most of the time, it's because you want to prevent yourself from getting ill or getting to a point where you make poor decisions or you cannot be in healthy relationships with people because you have not taken care of your mental health. The same way you could end up physically ill if you don't take care of your physical health. Okay. So the point of this video is to say I'm going to try and be more consistent this month, which is not a promise I can make, because if you know anything about this channel, you know that I'm here when I'm here and I'm not when I'm not. But it's May and I'm going to try and at least get one video out, right? So I want to talk about being proactive. So I made an example of your physical health. For example, a lot of people exercise, and there's so many in Windhoek, for example, like runners clubs and like boot camps and stuff like that. And yes, some people do go because they're ill or they have some sort of physical ailment, but I think the majority of us go to the gym because we know the importance of taking care of our body, because you're looking after your body right now for the future you, right? For the you in 10 or 20 years. So you know that right now I feel okay and I don't have any issues, but I know that in 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, I need to invest my body to make sure that I'm still okay then. So how to look after your mental health. Number one, talk about your feelings. I know that a lot of people hate this, but pent up feelings and aggression are like, people say that there's actually been studies that prove that they actually cause physical illnesses as well. Like you can actually get, I think you can actually get cancer. I'm not sure. But I know that you can actually get physically ill because of pent up emotions and things you haven't dealt with. And I am a testament to that. I have been the person to soldier on and just keep going and until I landed up in hospital. And it's because your physical body, your brain, of course, is connected, and your emotions are connected to the rest of your body. And you can actually make yourself physically ill because you're not speaking and you're not doing some of the other things that I'm going to list here today, right? Secondly, keep active. Exercise. I spoke about exercise. Of course, we know how good it is for your body, your physical health, but it does wonders for your mental health, especially running. I love to run, but I haven't done that in a while. So let me get back on that. Thirdly, eat well. We talk a lot about eating well for your physical health, but it also, I think if you know any vegans, they'll tell you that it also affects what you eat, what you put in your body also affects how you sleep, how your brain operates, how you handle stress. So eat well, eat healthy, add some fruits and nuts to your diet, cut down on the KFC and the oily foods, and really try to be more cognizant of your diet. And there are a lot of foods and particular berries and vitamin supplements you can take that actually help you handle stress better. For example, vitamin B complex really works for me with regards to stress management and just like calming down. Fourth, if you do drink sensibly. So a lot of people use drinking as a crutch to deal with real life things that you don't want to deal with, and like stress and anxiety and like social anxiety, but it is temporary. And most of the time, once you are sober, you feel worse than you did to begin with, right? So if you're going to drink, I would advise that you drink sensibly, in moderation, but you also don't drink as a crutch. Of course, that segues into any other sort of vice. People love to call it, oh, it's my vice. It's a crutch, and maybe you should try to find ways to deal with your emotions. Some of the ways that we're discussing here today that don't make you reliant on a substance, right? Because of course, then addiction. So keep in touch. Friends and family, those are your sort of life source sometimes. And it's important to keep in touch with people that support you, and that you also support, and that speak well into your life, speak positively into your life. I'm a big fan of people who speak positively into your life. And make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who are for you, right? And with that, on the other side of the coin, if sometimes when you go around people, you sort of have to mentally prepare yourself, because they just say mean things or they're always cutting you down. And I'm okay with saying, like, you don't have to end the friendship, but you can. If you want to have a conversation with them, you can. If you don't want to, I guess that's also your prerogative. But it's okay to say, this person, I don't feel good when I'm around them, right? And if I don't feel good and I have to prepare, or I have to drink, or I have to take a nap before I go and see them, maybe you shouldn't be around those people, just for your own sake. And you can decide how you want to take the next step. If you want to actually tell them, like, look, every time I'm around you, you say something negative about my weight, or about, my academic, achievements or lack thereof. You say something bad about my skin. I mean, there was somebody who I think the final straw for me was when she mentioned, like, oh, you're so dark. It looks like you, because I'm just like, I've been dark, and I was like, you don't ever have anything positive to say about me. And I didn't cut off the friendship and be like, but I just stepped back a little bit, just for my own mental health. And then of course, ask for help when you need it. There is a whole, a lot of the time on this channel I refer back to the Where to Get Help in Namibia sort of pamphlet that I update every year, and I'll put a link to it in the description or somewhere on the screen. But that's for Namibia, but the rest of the world, I think they're very similar resources, whether in the private sector or in the public health sector. There are places you can get help. If you're not comfortable with going to a stranger straight out, you can talk to a friend or a family member, and then they can help you get into the right channels. They can help steer you. Somebody that you trust and know that they have your best intentions at heart. Right, so take a break. This goes back to really just trying to, not allow your body to be the one to shut you down, right? So you need to take a break when you need to take a break. You need to schedule, however you pronounce it, regular breaks throughout the year, whether it be a week or a couple of days, or even just a weekend where you say like, this is a me weekend, and you get some me time and you focus on yourself. You don't engage with people, or you don't pour too much of yourself into other people or into work or into school or whatever, because you need to take that time to sort of recharge your batteries. So take a break. If you don't take a break and you keep running on E, your body will take the break for you. And as I said, your body and your mind, your physical health and your mental health are intertwined. So if you get to a point where your brain is like, I can't anymore, suddenly you're just sick all the time, and you've got this ailment, you've got that ailment, and sometimes you just need to rest. So do something you're good at. This is also really important. If you follow me on social media, you know that I do a lot of DIY stuff. I love to do, like, I do my own hair, I do my own nails, I paint and stuff, but it's because it's therapeutic. And I also, at the end, I'm like, oh, you know, I did this and I like it, you know, and I did this and I feel nice about myself. And sometimes it's difficult to feel nice about yourself because everything else is just happening and the world seems to be on fire. But like, sometimes I sit down and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna paint this table, and I paint the table and now it's a nice table, or it's nicer than it was before, and I feel like, hey, I did that. And every time I come into the house, I'm like, look at my coffee table that I painted, or look at my TV stand that I painted, and I did that, and I feel nice about myself, and I'm able. And especially if you're somebody who has a lot of people or deals with a lot of criticism often, it's good to do something you're good at. I look at my nails and I'm like, hey, I like my nails. You know, I like what they look like. I did that. Or I like my hair. I did that. You know what I mean? It helps boost where sometimes you're being drained. Right, accept who you are. That, I think that follows in very, very well. So sometimes it's okay, or not sometimes, it's okay to accept that some things are not for you, that some society, and let go of societal pressures, accept the decisions you make. I know that a lot of pressure comes from, sometimes we make decisions for ourselves, right? So you know that this is the best thing for you to be able to move forward, whether that's cutting certain connections or keeping yourself out of certain environments. And you will get a lot of societal pressure behind it. People want to come with their societal norms and their expectations of you, and they criticize you for not falling into that. And you know why you made the decision to be a certain way or to do certain things, right? And I mean, this is only for when it's positive. Please don't say, I'm very much against that oh, this is just how I am, as a way to excuse bad behavior or like trauma-based responses and cruelty and stuff like that. No, that's not what I mean. Like, don't be rude and say this is just how I am, or you're unnecessarily mean to people and you're like, oh, this is just how I am. I mean, when you do things like, okay, I'm gonna step away from this group of people because they make me feel away, or I'm gonna step away from this individual because they're unhealthy for me, right? Either they trigger me or they're abusive or whatever. And then somebody will come along, or people will come along, and a group will come along, and social media will come along and say, but they're your this and they're your that, or your relative or your friend or whatever, and how can you lead them? And you're terrible, and you know, society rules and norms, and they're not privy to your situation. They're not privy to, because it's not everybody's business as to why you make decisions. And you need to maintain, so you need to stand in that. You need to stand in the decisions you've made for the sake of your mental health. If you do not go to certain places because it gives you anxiety, or you don't engage in certain conversations because they give you anxiety, or they do whatever, they stress you out, maintain that. You don't have to explain to people why, and you don't have to constantly, you know, shout it at the top of the rooftops that I don't do this, I don't do that. Just stay in who you are and accept who you are, and you will find that you have so much peace because of it. Another thing is societal like pressures of like finances and all of that. Accept the tax bracket with which you're in and live within your means. I talk about it a lot when it comes to finance, and I think I should make some more videos on personal finance actually. But accept who you are. Don't go into debt to impress people who don't like you. Because the people who do like you know you close enough, know that like This is not a lifestyle that you can afford. You have no one to impress, okay? Like, live your life. Drive the car you can afford. Live in the place that you can afford. Accept who you are and don't let anybody try and pressure you into a lifestyle that will, or a process or engagements that will make you unhappy, okay? And then lastly, care for others. You're blessed to be a blessing. A lot of Christians, we know, we say this a lot, and it's because it's true. Also, volunteering, and not volunteering as in giving with one hand and then a selfie, with a camera showing. Please don't do that, actually. My goodness, that thing where people have like a camera and they're like, oh, look at how I'm giving this poor child food. Please don't do that. Or like filming people while you're taking them to buy clothes or groceries or whatever, and then because they need them, they have no choice but to be in your camera as a prop. But like, it's dehumanizing. If you give, the Bible says, if you give, the one hand shouldn't, see what the other hand is giving. Care for others. It is very much, I very much subscribe to the concept and like the school of thought, or whatever you call it, of Ubuntu. And I think not only because, we are a village and we look after each other, but I am because you are, or you are because I am. But it's very much in line with the idea that we are a society, and we need to look after each other, but you help yourself by helping others. Thanks for being here, and take care of your mental health, and I'll see you next week.